I declare the congregation open. Good afternoon, members of the university, guests, and especially all of you graduating here today. It's an enormous pleasure to be able to welcome you on what is a very, very special day indeed. We're here to celebrate the achievements of our students from Lonsdale College and our PhD graduates from the Faculty of Science and Technology. I'm particularly delighted to see so many family and friends of our students here today. I know you will be feeling particularly proud of what your friend or your relative has achieved, and you are very welcome to be here. I'd also like to extend a warm welcome to our Alumni Award winner, John Curtin, who we'll hear more about later today. John, you're extremely welcome back to Lancaster. Degree ceremonies, as you probably heard from the fanfare, are in part formal occasions, but they're also events to be enjoyed. So I hope that for those of you at the back of the hall, when your friend or your relative is on stage, you can choose your manner of applause. You can applaud, you can whoop, you can cry, you can laugh, you can dance in the aisle. You can do whatever you want to do. The important thing is to celebrate what is a wonderful day. This is going to be a celebratory day. And for some of you, I guess that might extend into the night. I say that from experience. I graduated here in 1979, which was an eon ago, when the university, by the way, was a very, very different place from the one that you're in today. For a start, it was about half the size. So you're in a much bigger university than I was, but you're also, frankly, in a far better one. You know, in fact, honestly, it's so good nowadays, I'd struggle to get in. It's in the top 13, top 12 universities in our country, and we have an aspiration to be in the top 100 worldwide. So Lancaster is not just a big university, but it's a great one too. For me, the wonderful thing about this place is that even as we continue to grow and hopefully continue to improve, we stay true to one founding principle, and that is that this should be open to all of those with talent and potential. Lancaster is a university where excellence hasn't been bought at the expense of equity. We provide opportunities for students regardless of their backgrounds in life. And at a time when there's often such an overwhelming sense of pessimism in our country about the prospects for greater social mobility and greater fairness, ours is actually a story of optimism. Our philosophy is very, very simple. What counts is not where you came from in the past, but whether you're prepared to put in the effort to create for yourselves, and I hope for others, a better future. So today, we celebrate the fact that you have seized that opportunity. A graduation ceremony is often thought of something that, if you like, marks the end of an era, a rite of passage from one part of your lives to the next. And it is. It's the culmination of years of hard work. And that is something that will last you all of your lives. So today, in a sense, is less the end of something and more the start of something else. Not the closure of an old story, but the opening of a new chapter. What you have learned here, you will carry throughout your lives. Of course, if you've studied computing, you may well go on to have a career in IT. If you've studied management, you may well go into business. If you've studied politics, then frankly, heaven help you. But I think what you will find is what you've acquired here is more than knowledge about a particular subject. For myself, as a graduate from this university, Lancaster will always be the place that gave me the strongest possible foundations for my life and my career. It helped me on my way from being a kid when I arrived here, from a council estate in the northeast of England, to ending up being in the UK's cabinet. My time here genuinely was a gift. It gave me skills that were way beyond my studies. How to learn, how to question, how to argue, how to analyse. It taught me, too, the relationship between effort and reward. If it's easy, it isn't really worth doing. It's the hard things in life that make you. And as you all now know, whether you are PhD students or undergraduate students, there are no easy degrees here at Lancaster. Everyone has to be earned by commitment, by dedication, and by sheer hard work. So today, we're celebrating not just your intelligence, we celebrate too your resilience, your ability to rise to a challenge and to beat it. That is just as well, because when you leave here, you're about to enter a world that is certainly not short of challenges. This is a period of profound global uncertainty, volatility. It's been christened the era of permacrisis, and it sometimes does feel that the world lurches from one crisis to the next. But it's actually more than that. Someone said to me recently, he said, "Today is the slowest day of the rest of your life." What did he mean? He meant not just the scale of change that we're witnessing in our environment, our society, our economics, our politics, but it's the sheer pace of change that is happening too. The world is getting faster, not slower, and that isn't going to change. Navigating that successfully to create a better, and I hope, a fairer world requires above all else one great thing, and that is leadership. Now, there'll be different views in this hall about whether or not the world is blessed with great leaders today, but the one thing that I hope we can all agree on is that the biggest single hope for the future, not just of our country but of our world, is the young people that we have before us today. You are the next generation of leaders. From amongst you will come leaders in business and leaders in economics and leaders in science and technology and maybe even leaders in politics. And we need that. What we seek to do here at Lancaster is to equip the next generation of leaders with the right attributes, not just for yourselves, but to make a difference in the world, to be agile in your thinking, purposeful in your focus, and outward-looking in your demeanour. And that's why Lancaster is and will remain a university that is open to the world. We believe in building bridges, not walls. We have campuses in China, Ghana, Malaysia, Germany, and Indonesia. We're unashamedly a global university. Today, 8,000 students study for a Lancaster degree outside of the United Kingdom. Here on campus, we're particularly proud of the fact that we welcome students from over 180 countries worldwide, and that our staff come from all parts of Europe and indeed well beyond. The rich diversity they provide on campus not only brings huge benefits educationally, it also prepares our students for life in what is increasingly a global society. So there are no guarantees ever in life, but the one thing I can promise you is that the degree you have earned from this university is a passport, should you choose to use it, to a lifetime of opportunity. Today, you join a very special community. Like 175,000 others worldwide, you're about to become alumni of this great university. Ours is a community that expresses the very best of today's world. High achievers, great thinkers, top leaders, people who make a difference, whether it is in industry or in charity, in private companies or the public services, local and global. You all come from very different backgrounds, and you will no doubt end up working and living in very different locations. But in the end, you're part of a community, all bound together by one common history. So when you leave here, you will take something of Lancaster with you. Memories, of course. The friends you've made, the tutors you've met, what you have learned from your studies. But above all else, I hope what you take away from Lancaster is what you've learned about yourselves. That if you persevere, it pays off. That if you follow your dreams, you can rise to a higher level. That if you listen to your hearts, you can achieve great things. Each of you has proved that you have what it takes to make a success of life, not just for yourselves, but I hope for others too. So my advice to you is very, very simple. Be bold, be brave, believe in yourselves. You have a wonderful, wonderful future ahead of you. I wish you all the very best on behalf of this great university for whatever path that takes. Enjoy it. You've well and truly earned it. Thank you.
Please may all Doctor of Philosophy graduates from the Faculty of Science and Technology stand. Chancellor, on behalf of the Senate, I present these members of the Faculty of Science and Technology who are worthy to receive higher degrees of the university. For the degree of Doctor of Philosophy, Angam Abdul Raham Al-Adal, Electron and Photon Transport in the Molecular Nanostructures. Nicholas Amos, a 3D view of environmental quenching across cosmic time. Max Arnott, bounded operators on Banach spaces, kernels, closed ideals, and unique quotient algebra norms. Gabriel Bean, correlated optics of dipolar atom clouds. Alexander Billings, plasticizers in the UK environment. George Bolt, statistical methods for samples of interaction networks. Douglas Booker, reassembling air quality science, exploring air quality knowledge production. James Patrick Boyd, hydrogeophysical characterization of landslides. Sarah Chadwick, meta-comprehension accuracy of health-related information. Diarmid Kaur, monitoring Greenland and Antarctic superglacial hydrology from space. Samuel James Cusworth, should we reduce the use of plastics in agriculture? Rachel Duncan, methods for missing time series data and large spatial data. Edward Dunn, single atom defects and submolecular resolution imaging with ambient atomic force microscopy. Sophia Durward, insights into the solar wind conditions near Mars from data science techniques. Charlotte Sophie Entwistle, personality dysfunction manifest in words, understanding personality pathology using language. Graham Laidler, simulation analytics for deeper comparisons. Ruben Arthur Leanders, terahertz magnonics in antiferromagnetic iron oxides. Mongol Nyamdava, rhizophias processes and associated phosphorus solubilization during soil drying and re-wetting. Sahanu Victoria Otite, investigating the fate of pathogens during anaerobic digestion of organic wastes. Lizzie Ma, the impact of perceived emotions on early word learning. Drupad Palmer, input uncertainty and data collection problems in stochastic simulation. Alessio Quadrelli, surface direction growth of monolayer polymers. Charlotte Rothwell, the role of attentional biases on language development in autistic and neurotypical children. Samantha Russell, the animals in moral tales, character realism, moral theme, and children's responses to stories. Benjamin Simon, big data epidemics, efficient modelling and inference of bovine tuberculosis across England. Matthias Zoberg, sense-making and cooperation in investigative interviews, the role of matching. Yehorios Sophronis, volatility modelling with high-frequency financial data on a continuous timescale. Rachel Taylor, can the left hand benefit from being right? Joshua Wiggs, hybrid modelling of radical plasma flows in the magnetospheres of the outer planets. Jinyu Zhu, confidence intervals for the treatment effects in adaptive enrichment designs. Please may all Doctor of Philosophy graduates from the Faculty of Science and Technology stand.
By my authority as Chancellor, I confer upon these members of the Faculty of Science and Technology the degrees for which they have been presented. Many, many congratulations to you all. Well done!
Please may all Lonsdale graduates who have completed the following programmes stand: Master of Engineering, Master in Science, Bachelor of Arts and Bachelor of Engineering. Chancellor, on behalf of the Senate, I present these members of Lonsdale College who are worthy to receive first degrees of the university. For the degree of Master of Engineering, Isabella Austin. For the degree of Master in Science, Tamsin Victoria Holden. Benjamin James Lambert. Eve Olivia Lancaster. Lily Elizabeth Magri. Matthew David Perkins. Laura Sarah Yarni. For the degree of Bachelor of Arts, Mia Lauren Ballantyne. Lewis Terence Brierley. Reese Daniel Kant. Ji Cheng. Archie William Haywood. Emily Rose Keeley. Ushrune Kudakate. Charlotte Victoria Mather. Emu Mothersdale. William Henry Oliver. Victoria Pasquale de Bonanza. Charlie Robert Plant. Onchi Angie Tam. Vanessa Asantewa Ardo Gayan. Victoria Bernardes Pacheco Santos Lopez. Olivia Grace Tingle. Wing Yang Zhe. Harika Velagala. Hueying Wong. Jonathan Nevis Philip Wood. For the degree of Bachelor of Engineering, Antonio Torres Sanchez. Please may all Lonsdale College graduates who completed the following programmes stand. Master of Engineering, Master in Science, Bachelor of Arts and Bachelor of Engineering.
By my authority as Chancellor, I confer upon these members of Lonsdale College the degrees for which they have been presented. And I want to hear a really big round of applause this time. Well done.
Chancellor, I present to you Professor John Curtin for the Award of Outstanding Alumnus of the Year. John is a distinguished member of an alumni community that, as we have heard, numbers over 170,000 members across the globe. As we recognise his achievements through this award, we also acknowledge and celebrate the wider successes of all Lancaster graduates and the important part they continue to play in the life of our university. John Curtin is a visiting professor at the University of Southampton and Vice President and Fellow of the Chartered Institution of Water and Environmental Management. An award-winning scientist specialising in environmental resilience and flood management, he's held key roles in the UK's National Rivers Authority and the Environment Agency, including senior leadership posts. Highly regarded in his profession, he also serves as a strategy advisor to the Resilience Advisors Network, a group of over 160 European practitioners with a background in emergency and disaster management. John arrived at Lancaster at the end of the 1980s, looking to escape a home life he's described as resembling the popular 80s sitcom Bread. He soon fell in love with the college system, the freedom of campus life, and the access Lancaster provided to the great outdoors, particularly the Lake District. He also discovered, early in his student career, that his free choice module in environmental sciences captivated him more than his main subject of chemistry, and he duly switched courses at the end of his first year. John says his biggest inspiration was hydrologist Professor Keith Bevan, whose main research interests were in hydrological modelling and the prediction of uncertainties associated with environmental models. Interestingly, Keith won the British Hydrological Society's President's Prize in 2013, 7 years before his former student, John, received the same recognition. And more of that in a moment. After graduation, John went on to complete a master's degree in information technology at Aston University before landing his first job as an assistant hydrologist with the National Rivers Authority, thanks in part to the work he'd done on reservoir modelling in his last year at Lancaster. This led to operational roles in flood management and water regulation with the NRA and the Environment Agency before his appointment in 2012 as Director of Incident Management and Resilience for the latter, a strategic role which saw him responding to major flooding and environmental disasters. Between 2015 and 2020, John led the UK's flood and coastal risk management teams at the Environment Agency, and his strategic vision in developing a new approach to flood resilience in the UK in the light of climate change led to the government's adoption of the National Flood and Coast Strategy to the year 2100, the work of for which John received the Hydrological Society's President's Prize. His expertise in responding to natural disasters also saw him brought in to advise the UK's Scientific Advisory Group for Emergencies, SAGE, at the beginning of the COVID pandemic in March 2020. With a reputation for outstanding strategic and thinking and team leadership, John was promoted to Executive Director of Local Operations at the Environment Agency in 2020, also serving as the agency's Interim Chief Executive in 2023. In these roles, he led a team of over 12,000 people and had responsibility for an annual budget of £1.8 billion. John has continued to collaborate with colleagues at Lancaster, including in the aftermath of 2015 Storm Desmond, and he remains a passionate champion for the environmental sciences. He recalls with disappointment the dismissive attitudes he encountered to these throughout the 1980s and 90s, but also his own awakening to the need for action and the people-centred nature of his chosen profession. This human aspect hit home to him during the Cumbrian floods of 2015-16, when he witnessed an army squaddie in tears after he'd had to put an elderly woman's entire life into a skip while disposing of the contents of a water-ravaged house. John's ambition is to make scenes like this a thing of the past. Now, just to add, because John mentioned this before we came in here, that he's also a great fan of Leamington FC, and I promised him that I would say that. So, hurrah, the mighty Breaks. John Curtin's achievement should act as a reminder of the success that is possible with commitment and dedication. We live in a world facing many and growing challenges, but when you leave here today, you will have a chance to make a difference, to be part of the solutions we need by putting the things you've learned here to good use. Whatever paths you choose, whatever opportunities and obstacles you face, like John and many other alumni before you, be the best that you can be for yourselves, your families, and the communities in which you live and work. Chancellor, it is my honour to present John Curtin for the Award of Outstanding Alumnus of the Year.
I tell you what, it's much easier sitting in there than it is standing up there, I tell you, you're looking at me. But anyway, Chancellor, fellow members of the university, honoured guests. I would like to start with a thank you to the wonderful people at Lancaster University for the honour you've given me today. It is truly humbling, and one I couldn't even dreamed of as I sat and lived in the coldest digs Morecambe can throw at an individual. As has been mentioned, I actually came to study chemistry at Lancaster. One of the joys back then was you could have an additional wildcard module, and I chose environmental science. I've written here mainly because it seemed to have some fun field trips in the lakes, but probably is more to do with maths, if I'm honest with myself. In the first year, I became inspired by the environment, especially our nation's rivers, water, and hydrology. And much of that inspiration that has been mentioned came from Professor Keith Bevan of this university, who I'd still like to thank for motivating me to make the change to environmental science that led to a fantastic career helping people in the challenges we face. I went on to graduate from the university in July 1990, where despite Keith's best efforts at teaching me, my whole academic career was described in just 2 words: deeply average. Now, at the time, I didn't find that particularly helpful, but in hindsight, it turned out to be immensely useful because, firstly, it was true, and it's a real good lesson in reflecting that each of us are responsible for our own motivation in life, not somewhere else, despite the inherent distractions at university. And secondly, it was useful because everything I should have learned about water, rivers, and the climate was about to radically change. Because in 1990, I just completed a degree where we broadly took what was recorded in the past with regards to rivers, seas, and the climate would remain broadly the same going forward: a static view and a static science. There were, of course, hints about the potential of global warming back in the 80s, but the dramatic changes and the pace of those changes were beyond anything people had dreamed of. So the fact that this deeply average student didn't need to do a lot of unlearning about the static nature of water helped and was a blessing for what was to come. One other fact for my graduation back in 1990, if you look at the local weather reports, it says it was an unusually hot one in Lancaster at 22 degrees. And I certainly remember it feeling very uncomfortable. I think I'm getting a bit of that now. 22 degrees. That's full 14 degrees lower than the ceremony held just 2 years ago in this hall. Little did I know I was about to embark on a 30-year career in the Environment Agency that would lead me to be on the front line of this nation's battle against the climate emergency. I've watched nearly every UK weather record broken in those 30 years. In 2016, Storm Desmond brought the wettest 24 hours ever seen in this country. 341 millimetres of rain in just 24 hours, 34 centimetres. So that's larger than your old school ruler in just one day. In February 2020, the country saw Storm Dennis bring 4 times the average rainfall in just 1 month. 4 times. It was so much rain, the Met Office had to completely change the graph scales on their maps because we'd never seen 400% of anything before. The Thames Tidal Barrier, which is operated to protect London from coastal changes, only closed 10 times during the whole of the 1980s when it became operational. In the winter of 13-14 alone, it closed 50 times. 50 times in just one winter to protect the capital from flooding. And in 2015, in this very city, hundreds of homes were flooded and the power to over 55,000 homes was lost, including this campus. So over my career, I've had to learn how to be at the heart of the nation's response to the climate crisis, where politics really does meet science. In 2012, I attended my first COBRA meeting, which is the government's central crisis bunker, which, rather boringly, by the way, COBRA is Cabinet Office Briefing Room A. It's just a weird title for a room, not anything fancy. I remember my boss at the time saying these flood COBRAs are quite rare and that I should keep a book of what happened in it so I could pass on to the next generation. So I duly built a new book. I wrote the big 1 in the corner for that first meeting, and I still have that same notepad today, but the number circled is 85. But at last, we are waking up to the climate emergency. The UK, the world, is trying to reduce its carbon impacts, and that is both essential and laudable. But there is one very fundamental truth that we all need to understand, that regardless of the carbon reductions we need, and they must come, adaptation to a new climate is now unavoidable. There's a quote from a recent IPCC report into climate which is seared on my consciousness. Sea level rise continues to rise at an increasing rate. Extreme sea level events that were once historically rare, once in a century, are projected to occur more frequently, become once a year by 2050. And this is the killer line under all climate scenarios. So even if humanity didn't produce another gram of carbon, that is the future we face. But I'm hugely optimistic that we will be able to overcome these climate challenges, not least because of all of you, and because of the sort of forward-leaning work universities like Lancaster are doing on flooding and the climate, be it finding nature-based solutions to the challenge or the exceptional research the university has done on bringing the voice of children and young people into the debate about climate and flooding. Climate change will touch all elements of society and business, so all of you, whatever you studied, will be able to make a difference in the challenges we face. And you've never been needed more. Unlike me in 1990, you know the challenge. Unlike me back then, you know the urgency. I spent a career reacting and responding to the events thrown at me by climate change. You can lead them. So what other reflections can I give to you as, on your graduation day? Well, if I look back on the young John Curtin in 1990, what would I say to myself? Number 1, I would say, be brave. You can do this. Number 2, I would say, be curious. You know the questions you need to ask, even though sometimes you're a bit scared to ask them. See the first point. And finally, be kind, because that's how you really get the most out of the people you work with and yourself. And on the theme of being kind, rightly the students getting their degrees today will get lots of applause for all the fantastic work you've done. But I think it's probably time for us to give a bit of applause to the other people in the room and the other people watching that have helped you get to this fantastic moment in your life. So let's give an applause to all the others. Well, thank you to everyone who's helped you on this fantastic journey. So finally, however deeply average you may sometimes feel, you can make a difference. And I absolutely wish you all the greatest success in your next chapter, whatever it may be. Thank you.
Please may all Lonsdale graduates who have completed the following programmes stand: Bachelor of Science and Bachelor of Laws. Chancellor, on behalf of the Senate, I present these members of Lonsdale College who are worthy to receive first degrees of the university. For the degree of Bachelor of Science, Sandra Effeld. Raheel Ahmad. Urif Iskandar bin Aidil Hanzul. Bernardo Alfageme de Vincent. Arsalan Azar. Caitlin Amy Ball. Vapab Bansal. Laura Baradas de Matos Silva Ferron. Abigail Elizabeth Bednall. Kunal Prakash Bhatia. Mohammed Naheem bin Mohammed Shamsuddin. Zimran Zahir Malik. Azra Maliha Binti Amran. Layla Amira Binti Amran. Harry Bishop. Bailey Blakely. Bethany Vakaya Bojay. Katie Louise Braddock. Sarah Braz Kadosu. Ethan William Birchill. Alicia Amanda Butler Craft. Jonathan Callow. Laura Calvo Martinez. Inigo Kasi Ramon Borja. Camille Carvala. Adriana Castrillo Kadama. Jasmine May Cato. Benjamin Gary Corley. Kar Shun Khan. Emma Amelie Chaperon. Jessica Claire Chapman. Cheryl Chung. Hai Xing Austin Chung. Marcus Chulton. Ben Clark. Joshua Cordova Armelini. James Cross. Matthew James Davitt. Ariana Linda Cross. Joshua Luke Delves. Eva Louise Davenport. Jimmy Dwan. Emma Jane Florence Dodds. Berkant Doa. Miroslava Yordanova Divekova. Emma Louise Douglas. Dylan Dyson Diaz. Adeoluwe Edenbola. Max Elvidge. Marianne Emmanuel. Shania Xiang Yun Eng. Omar Ahmed Mustafa Abdelhamid Fahmy. Oluwafemi Fanifosi. Marion Concesio Fernandez. Isabel Fernandez Nodal. Diego Fernandez Jacobi. Carlos Denzel Ferreira de Cavallo. Jamie Fierro Olakiage. Dylan Freeman. Hannah Fry. Alvaro Garcia Delgado. Ariel Gelman Wanon. Eric Gilbert. Olivia Ray Golden. Ignacio Gomez. Enrique Gonzalez Gomez. Sam Gorniak. Denise Elif Gurur. Melendo Tyrone Nadovi Green. James Frederick Harm. Eleanor Rachel Hansel. Katie Jade Harris. Jack Edward Hayden. Herbie Hayes. Alejandro Herrero. Arwun Ho. Lauren Holder. Ziun Ho. Maria Iglesias Naval. King Hei Yip. Osimu Diamen Eye Ray. Henry Neil Ronsley Johnson. Melvina Joseph Karuna. Mateus Sebastian Katsouris. Shreya Kuyatri. Thomas Edward Kiddle. Hannah May Kewen. Kit Kwan. Yu Chung Lei. Jennifer Lee. Chi Chon Lei. Dujen Lei. Alfonso Alves. Holly Elizabeth Love. Eleanor Alexandra Lunn. Lucy McRae. Yi Ching Gabrielle Mack. Fernando Manzanares Casiseca. Ariana Martinez Viola. Kayron Marzan. Stanis Matthew. Youssef Mirza. Oscar Miller. Andrea Kirsten Gania Miranda. Ibrahim Mohsen. Monica Moretta. Miguel Neto. Pablo Mulder Lopez. Amara Muller. Ella Sarah Maisko. Paula Neira Oliver. Michael O'Neill. Leo Otero Morales. Pauline Addis Devitri Panjaitan. Harry Michael Parkin. Annabelle Daisy Patterson. Emily Lucinda Peacock. Inigo Perez Garcia. Anna Popova. Nathan Walker Powell. Thomas Preston. Olivia Grace Pryor. Hannah Elizabeth Pyle. Jaime Rabasa Gonzalez. Belan Ramiro Gonzalez. Charlotte Louise Richardson. Jasper Christopher Paul Richardson. Madison Mackenzie Riley. Irene Robinson Martinez. Francisca Rodriguez Campos Gomez Silva. Timothy Michael Morgan Ryan. Zenith Sargent. Clara Savona Gomez Pintado. Harley Thomas Simon Sedgwick. Rodrigo Serrano. Nandina Shivakarma. Prashina Shivnani. Rayo Ribeiro. Vivek Singh. Ayomide Sholeye. Lucy Amber Spencer. Adam James Raymond Steer. Hannah Jane Stimson. Ben Christopher Stobart. Pentilis Stili Anu. Dylan Arlo Taylor, sorry. Bethany Jane Tebby. Laura Veronica Tofte Campillo. Joyce Shang Zhen Si. Sophie Shang Yen Si. Charlotte Grace Tuck. Abigail Carol Helen Turner. Aliyah Sajid Umarji. Shabi Girardi Valdi. Barbara Del Carmen Vedri Amana. Awele Davide Wali. Caitlin Frederica Walker. J. Thomas Wallbank. Alex Watling. Louianne Way. Vito Axel Willanto. Henry Robert Williams. Emily Williamson. Ching Yin Yam. Jing Yan. Siki Yu. Tizu Kun Chang. Yechen Zhao. Ching Xiao Ji. For the degree of Bachelor of Laws, Elizabeth Susan Maudsley. Adam James Myers. Rebecca May Pearson. Turay Singham Suresh Singham. Please may all Lonsdale graduates who have completed the following programmes stand: Bachelor of Science and Bachelor of Laws.
By my authority as Chancellor, I confer upon these members of Lonsdale College the degrees for which they have been presented. This is the last opportunity for a really big round of applause. So come on, well done. I now declare closed this congregation of the University of Lancaster. Long may the university prosper.